All right, hello everyone. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is Robert Marujo, the editor-in-chief of Nintendojo and Bits and Bytes, and we're here to talk Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis. It is the upcoming remake of the original Tomb Raider game. This is technically the second time they're remaking it, if you count the remake trilogy of the first three games that came out not too long ago. The difference here is they're aiming for a much more realistic graphics style. It's running in Unreal Engine 5. It's very pretty. Gameplay's been overhauled, more in line with modern Tomb Raiders in terms of how you run and shoot and jump and all those good things. So, as someone who I would say is probably more on the level of a casual fan, I'm not like a Tomb Raider diehard. I can say that I walked away from my preview session pleased with some concerns. So the level we got to play had us cracking into that first temple, and the puzzle we had to solve involved two gears that needed to be repositioned so that you can gain access inside. And so it's third person, right? Laura looks way better than she did months ago, right? There was controversy over the kind of bizarre, square-jawed, almost masculine look that they were trying to give her. That's been scaled back. She looks more traditionally beautiful. So that part of the design is working, right? In terms of the gameplay, they've introduced a couple of things, and this is where I say concern, more like I just have questions. But you have a scanner that you can use, and the scanner, I never used it. I don't know if I was supposed to, or maybe there was like one moment where you were compelled to, but I never really had a need for it or a desire to pull it out. Maybe that'll change in the final game. I'm assuming there'll probably be moments where like you have to scan and capture things. But the other thing was, let me think. Well, there was the grapple. I did enjoy the grapple mechanic. That allowed Laura to, kind of pull and tug on things. That was cool. But it was the crafting. That was the other one where I had a bit of a question. Where, you can find supplies in the game world, and you can craft things like health items, for example. However, I crafted a healing item, and the game wouldn't let me use it. So I wasn't sure if maybe this is a limitation of the demo, or maybe I did something wrong. But also, kind of looking at the game, it wasn't made clear to us: is this an open world game? Is this a stage by stage game? If it's stage by stage, I'm not like 100% sure how useful crafting is gonna be, or how immersive it might feel. If it's a larger open world game, fine. But as it stood just within the snippet of gameplay I experienced, I really didn't see a need for crafting a health pickup versus just the game gives you one. You find one out in the wild. But those are small complaints. The platforming was really fun. You are traversing this. It's a very vertical segment of gameplay that you're going through where you have to climb and you have to swing. All of it was handled beautifully. Very fluid motion. No yellow paint to speak of. I can't tell you how much it annoys me seeing that these days in games. Anyway, you complete that section, and then you get to the dinosaurs, which the devs were very, very excited for us to see. Man, I feel like a jerk, because I wasn't that excited by the dinosaurs. The raptors were interesting to fight with, right? You had to shoot at them and all that. They're kind of feathered, so there's like feathers poking out of the backs of the raptors, and then of course the big T-Rex that shows up. And it's the T-Rex where I just didn't feel this huge rush of adrenaline. It was a very scripted moment, and it felt like as long as you're running along the path that you're clearly supposed to be on, nothing bad is going to happen to you. So I didn't get quite as much of a rush as I think they were hoping for when the dinosaur did finally pop up. But it was still an interesting sequence. It looked really good. I think one area of concern beyond the two gameplay things I mentioned was I did have a little bit of a glitch moment where after I got the final cog out of the spot that it was in, I fell into some water below, and the game instantly registered like, "Oh, you have no oxygen left." It's like, oh, I don't know why. I just fell down. Like I have plenty of air, but the screen went gray, and then I swam a little bit, and then I was dead, and I had to kind of redo that bit of the gameplay. So that was a little that was a little lame, but it's it's an early build. I'm sure they'll probably have that ironed out by the time the game releases. So I mentioned Unreal Engine. I think I'm starting to become infamous for like loving and hating it. I hate hearing it. I can't help it. My instinct when I hear Unreal Engine is, oh, the devs just didn't want to bother to build their own thing. But I mean, that's what Unreal Engine's for. It's a tool. I think when it's used lazily, that's when I don't like it. But here, it was beautiful. The character models, the environments, everything that's rendered in it. The devs are doing an incredible job of really capturing that spirit and feeling of being in the jungle and that first Tomb Raider. So uh, I am hoping that when this game launches, that it is more of this. It was very fun, and as long as this obsession with the idea of like Laura, wanting to twist and change her for the so-called modern audience, the one that doesn't actually buy games. Um, I really don't like it. You don't have to have altruistic motivations for every character. This notion that Laura's here to save ancient history or whatever. The name of the game is Tomb Raider, my friends. It is what it is. And part of Tomb Raider is she's there, she wants to make a buck. She can do heroic things as part of what she's doing, but she's also, she's not somebody's nice aunt. All right, she is she's supposed to be a sexy character. She's supposed to be appealing and alluring. So as long as we, embrace what Laura is and not turn her into, the disclaimer message at the start of the the Tomb Raider trilogy game. I really can't stand that kind of stuff. Players don't need to be scolded and lectured. And I think that as long as this game avoids that, it's going to be in really good shape. So that's what's going to kind of dictate the success of Legacy of Atlantis, is that this sense of exploration and fun in the demo carries through the entire thing, and that it's not here to quote unquote teach us a lesson. And so I really hope that it works out. And there's plenty of time for it to work out. It won't be coming out until February 12th of 2027. So it's quite a ways away. It'll be here before you know it. It's frightening how fast time moves. So Nintendo Switch 2 owners, you have this to look forward to. And yes, so keep it tuned to Nintendojo. We'll keep reporting on the game. And thank you for tuning in to this preview.